Welcome back, HubSpot professionals. If you've ever tried to audit a HubSpot portal with dozens or even hundreds of workflows, you know how difficult it is to see what's actually connected. Enter Howley, where we scan your HubSpot portal and then organize all of your workflows by contact, deal, company, and ticket. And it's also organized by dependencies. So when you first log into Howley for the first time, you'll see all of your workflows on this canvas right here. You can zoom in now, but the minute you click on the very first workflow, you can see that connection lines are drawn because we can see what any particular workflow starts and what it is started by. As well, we also get a sidebar here where we can make edits directly to the workflow in HubSpot. Click on this link right here. We can see the enrollment, we can see the actions, and we can even see, well, what happens if I turn this workflow off? So if you want to audit on a one-to-one scale, this is how you would go ahead and do that. Another cool feature is that you can actually enable all workflow connections at the same time to get a much better understanding of your entire workflow map. So as it is right now, it is of course very convoluted and there's lots of different lines and different colors. And so as a natural next step, what you may want to do is start building out your actual process map. So we can already start telling a story here that these three workflows are connected with the lifecycle stage new and then the lifecycle stage lead. And that is because when the workflow became new lead, when a form is submitted, we set the lead status to new, which then in turn welcomes this new lead. Because the lead status is new, that's the enrollment trigger. And then as the last action step in this workflow, we're setting the lifecycle stage to lead, which in turn triggers the re-engagement work, so on and so forth. And as we can see, as I'm clicking through here, all of these lines are interconnected. Now, what I might want to do is start mapping out exactly what that looks like. And so once I have created a process map that I'm happy with, this is the natural next step in the audit. So I can move these out of the way. And now I have somewhat of an idea of what my workflow dependencies are, how everything is connected. And now as the next step, the next thing I might want to do is use the health assistant to figure out, okay, this is how everything is connected, but is my portal stable? Is it good? Is it running the best that it can? So the health assistant will actually check for stale workflows, orphan workflows, empty workflows, etc. And you can click through each of these points and go to the individual workflow that is being referenced in the health assistant. Another thing you may want to do is use the impact analyzer. So just like how we have the what happens if I turn this off in Howley on the individual status, you can also use the impact analyzer to look at, well, what are the most used properties throughout my workflows? And in my case, my most used ones would be the lifecycle stage. What is good about this is that it references lifecycle stage and it has 4 workflows here that trigger enrollment with the property lifecycle stage. And I have 6 workflows that modify the property. So modify the property means it writes directly to the property. So it's going through the workflow and then setting a lifecycle stage to customer or SQL. And so I've created a few workflows here to visualize that and what that looks like. So once for example, an SQL becomes an opportunity, the dependency is the lifecycle stage being opportunity, which then triggers this workflow that would send an email campaign. And you can even go through and say, well, what happens if I turn this off? Well, customers whose lifecycle stage is opportunity that's being set by this workflow will no longer be enrolled, will no longer enter this workflow. What you may want to do if you have a larger database too is you could also analyze all of this data directly with AI. So by clicking the Analyze with AI button, you can select your LLM, your favorite one, whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. And as soon as you click on that, it actually creates your prompt for you that you would then enter into ChatGPT. Let's try Gemini, just to show you what that might look like. So as I'm entering in this prompt, you can see that Gemini is then providing me with the executive summary, priority cleanup list, risk assessment, consolidation, action list, etc. This is really good, especially if you're an agency that's going through multiple HubSpot instances on the go and you want to see where are the opportunities, what changes can be made safely, etc. And one thing that you will want to look at as you're making changes, as you're auditing, as you are improving portals, is you want to use the recent changes button up here that allows you to see the time and date of which changes were made, so you can constantly follow up and have this data readily available. So that is a 6-minute Howdy audit. Do let me know if you have any questions.